It's the Wednesday before the Turkish Grand Prix. The cars will be back on track in around about 48 hours time or so, but in the meantime, there's a whole load of news for us to get into. As Toto Wolff is defending Max Verstappen from Sir Jackie Stewart, McLaren should be poised for a championship run soon, and the sprint races look like they're going to be continuing into 2020. There's a couple of days worth of news to get into, so just a reminder before we do, hit subscribe down below to stay up to date with everything that we do here at GPFans. But now let's get into the news from the last 2 days in Formula 1. Let's start with some news from earlier in the week. Formula 1 has confirmed that they plan to run sprint qualifying sessions at over a third of the 2022 calendar next year. Stefano Domenicali, F1 CEO, has insisted the reaction to the new weekend formula, which has been showcased twice already this season at Silverstone and Monza, has been super positive, despite many feeling the encouraging reaction to the format after its debut at the British Grand Prix was slightly more muted after a near procession in the second time it was run on a Saturday in Italy. While a third test run is scheduled for Brazil before the end of the season, the F1 CEO seemed ready to add the format to more events on the calendar next season as he spoke to Sky Sports News. We said at the beginning of the year there would be 3 tests this year to make sure we have the right plan for the future. I would say the vast majority of the comments we received were totally positive, super positive. Promoters are super happy because there is something new and very important on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. We are receiving this positive feedback, therefore we need to know next year we are going to have a great plan that will also consider the points highlighted by people who did not like this format too much, but generally speaking it has been an incredible success. So there is a lot of food for thought. We are going to also involve all the stakeholders, broadcasters, drivers, teams, promoters and fans. We don't have to forget our role is to take the right strategic decision and to consider all the points of view of everyone. We'll actually be talking more about this next week in a special looking at the success, or some would say lack of success, surrounding the new qualifying format here on GPFans. That, as I say, coming up in the next few days after the weekend. Elsewhere, Christian Horner isn't just locking horns with Toto Wolff as we prepare for the Turkish Grand Prix this weekend, as the Red Bull team principal countered the comments made by former F1 champion Sir Jackie Stewart regarding Max Verstappen's inexperience. After Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton came together in Monza last month, Stewart was quick to side with the 7-time world champion, claiming that although Max was the fastest driver in the business, his inexperience was an issue and that the Dutchman was still slightly in the puppy stage in terms of his F1 career. The 82-year-old also felt the 3-place grid penalty for the Monza incident was weak on Verstappen, but it was the shot at his driver's supposed inexperience that Horner was quick to defend against. Of course, I always respect Sir Jackie's opinion, said the Red Bull boss, but I think Max has shown great maturity this year. You're always evolving, always learning, and I'm sure Sir Jackie made a few mistakes in his time. So that's the journey of life. You learn from every experience, and when you see the progression from a 17-year-old when he came into Formula 1 to the driver he is today, it's pretty impressive. As to whether Verstappen is, as Stewart claims, the fastest man on the grid, Horner added, "It's always going to be subjective and open to debate. I'm just glad he's driving our car." Amazingly, Toto Wolff was in agreement with his Constructors' Championship rival, offering his thoughts on Stewart's words, given Lewis Hamilton's strengths. The Mercedes team principal said, "I'd like to echo what Christian said. Obviously Max isn't driving for Mercedes, so I don't know him really well, but his trajectory is impressive, not only the speed, but also the way he tackles the weekends. Overall, he's not at the end of his career. There's more to come, and part of that is the learning process." And speaking of Red Bull, the team will be using a dedicated livery at this weekend's Turkish Grand Prix. Dedicated, in fact, to its outgoing power unit manufacturer, Honda. The team will use a white-coloured car featuring bright red bulls as it pays tribute to the Japanese engine supplier. Suzuka was actually meant to be the race run this weekend, but that of course was cancelled due to COVID-19. And with Honda withdrawing from the sport this season, Red Bull is paying tribute to their power partner with this one-off, gorgeous car design. And finally, Carlos Sainz believes his former team McLaren is ready to win championships after a string of great results for the constructor. After Daniel Ricciardo's win in Monza and Lando Norris's pole position in Russia and subsequent near miss in the race victory, many feel that after a number of years stuck in the mud with underperforming power units, McLaren is back and ready to rocket back to the front of the grid. And one of those voices comes from the Spanish driver, who currently drives, of course, for McLaren's rivals, Ferrari, but who spent 2 seasons with the constructor. I think I have said it a couple of times already that I feel like McLaren as a race team is ready to win championships. They just need a car capable of doing it, said the now Ferrari driver. As was demonstrated in Monza, they had a car capable of taking a 1-2, and instead of getting nervous or collapsing, the race team, the engineers, the strategy is so strong. What they did was to take a 1-2 and with the fastest lap with the first opportunity they had. I know how strong that team is. Because of that, it's a great reference for us at Ferrari to fight against them in the 3rd, 4th championship, because I feel like that team is ready to win races if a good car is given to the guys who are running it. It is an interesting challenge for us as a team. We can learn from it and take it on board for next year when we hopefully can have a chance. While others are looking to the future with McLaren, they're looking at the present and the here and now as they fight for 3rd in the Constructors' Championship with Ferrari. A 27.5 point gap separates the two organisations in the championship standings, but after their impressive run in recent weeks, is it now time for McLaren to pull away and add to their advantage over the Scuderia as we move into the latter part of the season? Let us know in the comments section below your thoughts on the McLaren versus Ferrari debate. Are McLaren poised now for greatness if they can just nail that car right? And will it come in 2022? And what do you think about Toto Wolff standing up for Max Verstappen as well after what Sir Jackie Stewart said? Interesting indeed. Part of the mind games or just a bit of love at the top of the F1 grid? Let us know in the comments section below, as I say, and of course go on to Twitter and Instagram at GPFans Global to let us know there as well, and to stay up to date with everything that we do across our platforms. And don't forget to hit subscribe down below to stay up to date with us here at the YouTube channel.